to Weber State University, Dumpke College of Health Professions, Physical Therapy Graduate Information and Advising Video Checklist. Let's begin. Each physical therapy school is unique and they have their very own requirements. This checklist reviews common admissions, selection, and prerequisites, but just know that it may not cover all requirements for every school. It is up to the student's responsibility to contact these multiple schools, see what they require from them, and then work backwards to create their very own academic plan. Now let's go ahead and review some common admissions and selection process that you may encounter if you're going to be looking at physical therapy schools. To begin, you need to ask yourself, is your college and university overall cumulative GPA at least a 3.0? Many schools will require you to have a 3.0 or higher, but just know that to be competitive, you're going to want a 3.4 GPA and higher. You'll also be asked to do interviews. So to develop those interview skills, resume writing, you can get help using Handshake, which is found inside of your student portal. You can also check out LinkedIn, which has some pretty amazing videos as well. The one thing that's great here at Weber State, we have career services. They are a part of Handshake, and with them you can do mock interview practices, and they'll be able to go over how to make yourself stand out and how to be less nervous and better prepared. You'll also have to write essays for PT school for sure. So I highly encourage students, look online for examples of what other students have written. There are a ton out there just simply using Google, and also take your essay to the writing center. Have them check for errors and things like that. You're also going to have some observation and patient hours for sure. We're encouraging students to have at least a minimum of 100 hours, if not more, because more is always better. However, you want to get within those patient hours a variety of environments. So try to acquire patient hours in different settings. So outpatient, inpatient, home health, clinic, hospital rehabilitation, sports facilities, etc. Okay? So try to get a good taste of what it's like in all different environments. You'll also have to complete 3 to 4 letters of recommendations or letters of reference. So start working on your professional skills now and making connections with other people. Just know a lot of PT schools will also require specific GRE scores, graduate record examinations. Now, from our data that we have collected, we highly encourage that you're going to want at least a 155 in verbal, 155 or higher in quantitative, and then at least a 4 or higher on your essay writing. And that's usually considered to be competitive for most schools. So start practicing and getting prepped for that as well, especially during your last 2 years of college. Now, they require courses with letter grades to be evaluated. So just know the majority of AP scores will not be accepted. So if a PT school specifically requires a math and you took AP, just know that when you come to college, you're going to need to actually take that class and get a letter grade because they will not accept the AP score. Also, many of these programs require that the science classes be current within 5 to 7 years. So keep that into account if you're thinking of having any changes within your life or thinking about taking time away from school. Be careful when you start working on your science-based classes. There's also some additional important information here. It is an awesome website. This is where you can find information about all kinds of PT schools that are out there. What they require. They give you a really good detailed list, which I absolutely love. And also, that's the exact same place, which we call the PTCAS. Now, this is a universal application form, and that's what you're going to be doing. You'll submit everything through this one company, and then you select which schools you want your applications to go to. And then each school, of course, will have its very own fee, and then you'll have to pay at the end. But at least it's nice to only have to submit everything in one location. And you can start to create your own profile now and typing in your required hours, volunteer, and things like that. Just also know that and be aware that when you're looking at PT schools, some of them are very picky on their human anatomy and physiology. Some of them require biology courses and instead of zoology courses. So it's up to you to contact those schools and see what they'll take. And this part gets a little tricky. So be aware that some schools require biology classes and they will not take any zoology classes. Well, and that's because a lot of schools that are much bigger than us will have a biology department and a zoology department. But due to our size, Weber State University only has a zoology department, but we do contain biology courses. So like I said, it's always important to reach out to the schools that you're looking at applying to, see what they'll accept, and then work backwards. The U of U will accept the health sciences or the zoology series, so that was very nice to get that information that they will take either or. But like I said, it's up to your responsibility to learn of each school's requirements. Now let's go ahead and talk about common prerequisite requirements. This is not going to cover for every single school, but like I said, the majority of them are looking for these specific classes. Now, students can choose whether they want track 1 or track 2. Once again, it just depends on which PT schools you're looking to apply to. Within track 1, you can complete Health Sciences 1110, Integrated Anatomy and Physiology 1, go on to Health Sciences 1111, and complete Integrated Anatomy and Physiology 2. Then once you've completed those courses, you can go on to take Exercise Science 3510, Exercise Physiology. Now, if you complete track 2, you'll then want to go on to Zoology, Human Anatomy 2100, Zoology, Human Physiology 2200, and Exercise Science 3510, Exercise Physiology. And like I said, not one is favored over the other. You get to choose, but you either want to be a track 1 student or a track 2. You cannot mix zoology and the health sciences classes back and forth. So whichever series you choose, that's the one that you're going to want to take and move forward with that. And then, like I said, third class is to take exercise physiology. Now, it is highly recommended that after you're completed with this series of courses, please go on to look into taking Exercise Science 3450 Structural Kinesiology for both tracks. This is a great class that will help prepare you for physical therapy school, and it has a lot of great information. Now, many schools may not require this type of class, but once again, it's highly recommended that you take this class to prepare you for physical therapy school. Now let's go ahead and move on to our science requirements. So you are going to have math, and students either need to take the Math 1050 QL College Algebra and Math 1060 Trigonometry. You're going to need both of those courses. Or if you happen to be in Math 1080 Pre-Calculus, or if you landed in Math 1210 QL Calculus 1 as well. And the reason why you're going to either have to have these two classes or one of these is because it's a prerequisite to the physics series over here, which is required for PT schools. And you will need College Physics 1 and 2. So that is why it is incredibly important that as soon as you get to Weber State and you start working down this path, get your math completed. Get that done, complete your Math 1050, 1060, or the other two options here below so that you can get started on your physics as soon as possible and get that completed. Because it is a lot of math, but it is important to do it in a consecutive order so that you can stay on top of it and be successful. You'll also need chemistry as well. We highly encourage our students to look into the chemistry 1210 and 1220 series as well. But I would say focus on that once you finished your math and physics process, and then come back to look at your chemistry as well. There is a prerequisite chemistry 1200, or if you happen to have taken a lower level chemistry 1110, say for instance, you could ask for department approval to bypass this prerequisite and go straight to chemistry 1210. I still have a lot of students though that take this chemistry just to be able to prepare themselves better for once they get into this series. Another option is that you'll have to have some additional biology or zoology requirements. Now, these, like I like to list, are potential because you may or may not have to do them. It all depends on which schools. So these are the most common ones that we were able to find that a lot of students are looking into taking for their physical therapy schools. A lot of these classes require principles of zoology as a prerequisite to be able to take these types of courses, so that is why it is listed. But a lot of students will either take a microbiology class, cell biology, and genetics to be able to have those additional credits that they're looking for specific biology requirements. But once again, this all depends on what schools you're looking at going into. So keep that in mind, that this stuff up here is your most important. You really want to focus on your human anatomy and physiology requirements and your science requirements. These additional biology requirements are something that you'll then want to work on once you find out the schools that you're looking at applying for. And I would say you definitely probably want to look at maybe 10 to 12 schools, if not more. Next, there are some required supplemental courses. You will be required to take Psychology 1010, Intro to Psych, and Psychology 3010, Abnormal Psych. So please take both of those classes. You'll notice that a lot of PT schools want a statistics class as research methods, so we highly recommend Psychology 3600, Statistics in Psychology. It's a great class, and a lot of PT schools are looking for this course as well. And then down below are some recommended supplemental courses. Now, not all of these are required, however, some of them are highly recommended. So for example, Health Sciences 1101, Medical Terminology, majority of physical therapy schools has this as a requirement. So I would just take that class to cover your bases. Some departments encourage you to take like a creative writing class, because as a physical therapist, you're going to have to give out written instructions to your patients to be able to perform their exercises, and everybody learns a little differently, so they often encourage creative writing class. Next, you could look also into nutrition's essentials of nutrition. Now, this one may benefit you, may not. Once again, it all just depends on those schools that'll be looking for that requirement. Some will want it, some don't. Another very common requirement that you'll see is human development. So, like I said up above with medical terminology and human development, that one is very, very common on the list. Or I do see a lot of intro to sociology, but human development does tend to be a little bit more popular. And a lot of these classes, like the creative writing and the nutrition and human development and the speaking classes below, they also double dip for general education requirements. So it is great to, kind of keep in mind, keep this in with your plan, that you want to start incorporating your physical therapy requirements with your general education requirements and with your program. And finally, some schools will actually require a public speaking, or some of them will want just a communications class in general. And so we do offer Communications 2110, interpersonal and small group communications. You choose which one works better for you. And then once again, if you do speak a foreign language, we often encourage our students to look into Foreign Language 2600, Humanities Introduction to Cultural and Literary Studies, in translation. That's looks good on your applications, on your transcripts, or even some study abroad options as well has become very popular. But the number one most important thing is for you to, once again, look up a bunch of PT schools, see what they require, work backwards, which ones do you want to apply to, and then incorporate these prerequisites in with everything that you're trying to do. And you can choose any major you want. We've got some amazing bachelor's programs for you to choose from. You could choose athletic therapy, there's exercise science, there's health promotion, there's health administration. So there are a lot of different options that you get to choose. Like I said, the goal is to take these classes, one here down below, take these and incorporate them with your requirements as you go semester to semester. And you'll want to take these classes when you're ready. These are very challenging, difficult courses, so make sure to get math and English started and looking at your program requirements, what you're trying to do, and incorporate these classes little bit as you go. So thank you for joining me today. If you have any additional questions, our contact information down here is below. We'd be happy to answer any questions or concerns you have. And I hope that you found this video to be helpful as you're beginning your journey down physical therapy. Thank you and have a great day.